Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
If you've ever dreamed of quitting your job to take your side hustle full-time, listen up. This is Nicaila Matthews-Okome, host of Side Hustle Pro, a podcast that helps you build and grow from passion project to profitable business. Every week, you'll hear from guests just like you who wanted to start a business on the side.
If you can't run a side hustle, you can't run a business.
They share real tips.
And so I started connecting with all these people on LinkedIn, and I saw Target Supplier Diversity was having office hours.
Real advice.
Procrastination is the easiest form of resistance.
And the actual strategies they use to turn their side hustle into their main hustle.
Getting back in touch with your tangible cash and sitting down and learning to give your money a job, like it changes something.
Check out Side Hustle Pro every week on your favorite podcast app and YouTube.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com. Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey, it's Christy.
And I'm Kelly.
You might remember us as the OG partners in crime from Dance Moms.
Well, this is Back to the Bar, the podcast where we drag out every insane, chaotic, and iconic moment from the show.
We're spilling the tea, calling out all the BS, and sharing stuff you definitely didn't see on TV.
New episodes drop every week, and yes, we're laughing through the trauma.
For once. Follow, grab a drink, and join us as we go back to the bar.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
All right, mics are hot.
Welcome to this week's episode of Movie in a Pod. I am Clyde Smith.
And I am Javier Villalobos.
On this week's episode, we are talking about the trailers for Cherry and Army of the Dead in our movie of the week, Thor, Ragnarok. Now, Javi, before we jump into these trailers and everything, I have to apologize. I wanted to do Chinatown, 1984, Jack Nicholson. Such a classic is what I hear, but I've never seen it, and it's on our list.
I was stoked to watch one with you that neither of us have ever seen.
Yeah, that was definitely the intent. I wanted to do like a old school movie, do some day drinking with the wife yesterday, and I sit down and turn on some HBO Max, which has been the hub for a lot of the movies that we've been watching and talking about on this pod. Have you noticed?
Oh yeah, it's been pretty consistent.
And I searched for Chinatown. Well, I first look in my queue because I queued it up a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, boom, definitely watch this movie tonight. Gonna record on it tomorrow, and it's not there.
So they just pulled it recently.
Well, I don't know exactly when they did, but it had to have been within the last week and a half.
Right.
I then go search for Chinatown, and I get the episode to Entourage titled Chinatown. I'm like, I don't want this.
Right.
I mean, granted, I could talk about Entourage all day, but I don't want to.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I apologize, guys. So that's why we're pivoting. It looks like that it is on Paramount Plus, and we don't really have that subscription yet. It's not in our budget, so...
Well, we can throw it in down the line somewhere. Figure it out.
Definitely. So we're doing this week, guys, Thor Ragnarok. You're in for a good one, though. This is one of our favorite movies.
Yeah, that sucks, having to have all the different subscriptions sometimes.
It's almost getting like a regular cable subscription.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I cut out my cable. Because the cable and all the subscriptions and everything was ridiculous.
Yeah. And you had to have that big ass black box and everything. Yeah.
And now it's just like slowly creeping back up. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, there'll be somebody who just kind of puts it all back together. It'll probably be like Netflix or something. Who knows? But
I mean, maybe it'll be Movie in a Pod. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Boom! I like your style.
Start drafting that idea. Figure out how we're gonna do it.
Awesome. So the trailer to Cherry with our man Tom Holland. What'd you think?
Well, I mean, the trailer I saw was pretty short, but it looks like a good change of roles for him. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, it seems like he's taken this role to more of a dramatic role, and he's been through some shit.
Oh yeah, a little messed up,
and he's going through some shit. It's gonna see, like, you know, obviously love him in the action vehicles and that Spider-Man and everything, but can he take a dramatic turn and actually act? Which I'm really excited for, because Tom Holland does seem, you know, like he can act out of these action roles. So,
well, we saw him get a little dramatic when he turned to Ash. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, dude. Bringing me back, man. Oh, that was one of the most saddest parts of that movie. So yeah, I think that's available actually right now, Cherry, on Apple TV Plus. So another subscription. So we'll figure out some time. We'll add that onto the list of pods for the future.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. You know, watched Thor this morning, Ragnarok, and immediately rolled into Infinity War.
Yeah.
And now I got to watch Endgame tonight just to finish off.
I mean, that is your Sunday right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's what, if you wanted to know what's on Javi's agenda, boom, you got it right there. Got to watch them all. It's like Pokemon, but for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
There you go. Won't be long before they own the Pokemon too, so.
Good gosh, they're probably trying. Disney's going to own everything.
Everything.
So.
Everything.
What about Army of the Dead, man? What'd you think?
Yeah, I saw this version of this trailer about a month or so ago. I was pretty excited about it. Didn't know too much about it, but did a little research, and the trailer looks like it's going to be pretty fun. I like seeing Dave Bautista. He's a guy that has been doing a lot of good stuff. I'm enjoying his movies, so it'll be pretty good.
Oh yeah, it just looks like fun. You know, there's been Night of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, basically anything of the dead is basically dealing with these zombies. And with these zombies comes a lot of shooting, a lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of survival, right? They try to put a lot of different movie tropes at you. And this is also directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Who directed, I think, don't quote me, Night of the Dead, Army of the Dead, something of the Dead.
Day of the Dead, I believe is what it was.
Day of the Dead or something, yes. Yeah. That I watched a long time ago. Pretty excited for this one as well, man. It's going to be fun. You know, not just, it's one of those home fronts, right? Turn your brain off and just enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just curious to see how they play that storyline out of a heist in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Like why, you know, just curious. That's really what I want to know about all of it.
And, you know, I was just talking, like, you know, after I was talking to my buddy Rico. After COVID, we have to go back to Vegas. I see this trailer and I'm like, nope. Pass. I'm good. We'll definitely see what happens there. Cool. So once again, this week we are talking about Thor Ragnarok. This movie was released in 2017. This is directed by Taika Waititi. The writers, the screen room is Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, and Christopher Yost.
The budget on this movie was $180 million. The box office cranked out $854 million. They got paid on this one.
Yeah, man. I liked that this movie made some money. I thought it was going to go over $1 billion, but little under. So did not really get there.
Starring in this movie is obviously Chris Hemsworth as Thor, alongside Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Kate Blanchett as Hela, Idris Elba as Heimdall, Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster, Tessa Thompson as Scrapper 142 or Valkyrie, Carl Urban as Scourge, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, and Anthony Hopkins as Odin.
Odin's son. Yeah, definitely assembled a fire cast for this here. Some other movies that were released in 2017. It was a big year for comic book movies again. There was Justice League, there was Wonder Woman, there was Spider-Man Homecoming. Some other ones is Dunkirk, The Greatest Showman, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. That was just a fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars The Last Jedi, and then Split. That weird movie, that weird M. Night Shyamalan movie that I definitely was in the theater for. So, Javi, go ahead and break it down for us, man. Give us a quick synopsis of what this movie is and is about.
So this is our third Thor movie, Phase 3. basically on this one, we've seen Thor save the Earth many times. Now he's trying to save his home from Ragnarok, which we'll talk about. Just goes through a different journey on this one than the ones he's been through. And then definitely just a different movie altogether from the other two Thors. He tag teams the prophecy of Ragnarok with his brother, Valkyrie, Hulk. They all come together to trying to save the day.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it here. Marvel wastes no time. They do their Marvel cinematic, scroll that they do that they're notorious for. And we see this shot of Thor, and he's in these chains, and he's in this cage. We think that he's monologuing about his time between Age of Ultron and right now. Because he's just talking, and we just see this close-up shot of his face, and then it pans out, and he's actually talking to the skeleton, right?
Yeah, he's talking to the skeleton, telling him, sometimes you gotta be caught to find out, what's really going on.
Oh yeah.
So he's there on purpose. Obviously, Thor just doesn't get chained up.
And we don't see it; it's all off camera. But it seems like Thor has been through a lot of stuff. In between Age of Ultron and at this very moment. So while he's monologuing, talking to the skeleton, he actually gets dumped down and is hanging by these chains. And he's face to face with this hellscape fire demon called Surta. And this guy is pretty scary.
Yeah.
He's just on fire. Definitely scary. And there's a lot of monologuing in here. And this is actually off the gate. We're 3 minutes in. This is one of my favorite scenes right here, Javi, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is fun. Thor's talking to him and starts getting him to confess his bad guy plan, right? what his prophecy is. And he keeps asking him these questions. And he's like, what is Ragnarok? Tell me walk me through it. What's going to happen? And through this, a funny thing. It's like the rest of the movie. He's spinning on that chain, and he gets spinning to where his back's facing him, and he's like, "Hold on, give me a minute. I'll be back around." But they go through that, and during this talk too, Thor finds out Odin is actually not on Asgard at this time.
Yeah,
and he talks about he could let him go, or he could choose plan B. And Thor would break out the chains. So this time he's got his hand out waiting on Mjolnir to come through, and it starts busting through walls and everything else. And then we get that awesome Led Zeppelin song, Immigrant Song.
Oh, love it.
And he starts whooping ass, right?
Yeah, and this is a really dope fight scene. It's classic Thor, just whooping ass, taking names, fighting. Eventually knocks off the crown of Surta, because that's what is going to bring about Ragnarok. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna stop this by knocking off this crown. I'm gonna take it with me. Chains it to his back and starts taking off. He starts getting chased by this demon dragon thing. What the hell is this?
Oh yeah. Oh, some kind of fire dragon. I don't know. Well, what's cool too is like this scene. I felt like it was not just Thor's scene. It was Mjolnir's scene too.
Yeah.
They were like partners in this scene, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, so talking about that, right? We've seen his hammer before, and I'm going to say his hammer because I cannot pronounce that. It's always been his weapon, his of choice here, but it looks like Taika Waititi decided to bring the hammer front and center and show it's a part of Thor.
Yeah.
So it's just as much Thor as Thor is the hammer. They're one in the same there. So that was really, really cool and fun to see the hammer up close.
Thor gets out from the cave. He's on the surface of this planet, and he's got that dragon chasing after him. And he gets caught up in the mouth of it, and he just drops the hammer right on the jaw of the dragon. Yeah. And he's trying to call to Heimdall to pick him up with the Bifrost. Then he starts taking off, and the thing's chasing him. And finally, the Bifrost appears, and he heads to Asgard.
So in between that time, in between him dropping the hammer on the dragon's mouth, we actually get a shot of this character, Scourge, played by Carl Urban. He's at the Bifrost and he's entertaining these ladies, right? We don't really know what he's about or what, why he's even there. We're actually trying to figure out where the hell Heimdall is, right? We're so used to seeing Idris Elba in that area, but he wasn't. So that was pretty interesting and cool. And guys, this movie is just like chock full of just funny bits throughout the entire movie. At one point, the girls are like, "Hey, it's calling you. It's calling you. The Bifrost is calling you." All you hear is Thor, calling for the Bifrost, and Scourge has this shake weight. He's just showing off doing the shake weight thing.
Yeah, the shake weight.
We get Thor through the Bifrost, so he's back into this, back on Asgard, and he brings with him accidentally the head of this demon dragon, and the girls are covered in all this like dragon goo and stuff like that. It was just a wild opening, man.
Thor asks Scourge, where is Heimdall? What's going on? He finds out that he's actually a fugitive at the moment, and we'll find out why here shortly. So Thor takes off and he heads into the city, and Scourge takes off running to catch up to him so he can announce that he's here. So as Thor approaches one of the buildings in Asgard, there's a giant Loki statue. Then he walks up on Odin sitting on the couch eating some grapes, watching a play. We see Matt Damon as Loki and Luke Hemsworth as Thor, and they're acting out the scene from The Dark World where Loki supposedly died.
Yeah. Let's not forget the always talented Sam Neill is playing Odin in this scene as well, right? So it's like we're watching the end of Thor: The Dark World as a play right in front of our eyes, right? It's just such a fun scene, guys.
There's a gigantic applause right for when they finish off the play, and Thor yells out, "Father!" And under Odin's breath, he's like, "Oh shit!" When he sees over there. So Thor tells him, he says, "I like the statue of Loki. It's a little less weaselly, less greasy than when he was alive." And he's got that crown, the Surtur crown that he gives to one of the guards to take to the vault. He tells him that he's been dreaming of Ragnarok. He's been dreaming of Asgard, going up in flames. He says while he's out there, he learned that all the realms are in chaos. And, he knows that it's not Odin at this point. So he locks up Loki and he throws his hammer. He says, nothing stops Mjolnir, till he gets to his hand.
Yeah.
And then Loki, gives up the act and he takes off the Odin disguise. And it's Loki. He's the one that's been running Asgard. And you remember, can't remember exactly which, I guess it was the Dark World. Where it
was at the end of the Thor: The Dark World. Yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting on the throne.
After the scene, there's a little bit of exposition between the two.
Yeah.
And Thor really doesn't give a damn. He doesn't give a damn that he's on the throne. He just wants to know where his father is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Loki knows exactly where he is. So then there's this breakneck scene where they jump on the Bifrost and head to Midgard, which is Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in front of Shady Acres in New York City, and it's being bulldozed, right? So it's like this retirement home that he left Odin at, that Odin is no longer at, right?
Yeah, he says, "Is this where you left him? Is that on the side?" He said, "On the sidewalk or where the building's being destroyed?"
Oh man! So there's some girls who come up and take a picture with Thor, and then Loki gets taken through this sling ring portal.
Yeah.
And then Thor is left with a card with an address. Thor approaches this door at this address, knocks, and automatically in Doctor Strange's home. There's some exposition a little bit. He can put down his umbrella, which is actually doubling as his hammer. They sit down. Strange gives him this huge beer, automatically refills it a few times for him. And just wants to know why the hell is Loki on Earth?
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, we're looking for our dad."
yeah. Loki's apparently on a watch list, right? He's done got himself there.
Yeah. So he's like looking for our dad. If that's what we're doing. So Strange is like, "So if I agree to help you guys look for your dad, look for Odin, Loki leaves Earth." Thor's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So once again, at breakneck speed, Strange goes through all this incantation to find out exactly where he is. He doesn't he drop and say that he's in Norway, like off the gate, and then he starts casting a spell to try to figure out exactly where he is in Norway or something of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah, so apparently he wanted to stay in exile, and I don't think they ever explained why Strange knew, but something we'll never know, I guess.
Or we might find out in the new Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, maybe.
How he's just all knowing like that.
Yeah. Strange makes a portal to Norway and tells Thor, don't forget your umbrella, right? So he reaches out and the umbrella starts flying through the walls of the sanctum. He's like, sorry. And apparently Loki's been falling to nowhere this whole time through this portal.
Oh, yeah.
He opens the portal up in the air and he falls and lands face first in the ground. And then Doctor Strange sends him to Norway.
So now the brothers, they're in Norway and they see Odin. And Odin is sitting down on this rock or whatever. And he's looking out over the cliff at the crashing waves. Actually a really gorgeous scene. Odin tells him that he doesn't have much time left. Odin explains that Ragnarok is approaching and that she is coming. We have no clue who the hell she is. Nope. And so they ask. It's the goddess. It's the goddess of death, his firstborn, their sister. He explains that he imprisoned her and that she grows stronger the closer she gets to Asgard. Thor's like, nah, Dad, like we always do. We'll just kick ass and take names and, we'll do what we do. Odin is like, not anymore. And a little bit more exposition, and then Odin vanishes into the air.
Thor starts blaming Loki for all this, sending Odin into exile and putting whatever magic he put on him. And in the background, this portal starts opening, and there's like green light coming through. And this is a really cool scene where they're walking towards the portal. They kind of drop their argument, and Thor smashes his umbrella on the ground and changes into, his warrior outfit with Mjolnir, and Loki suits up as well. And we see Hela come out of the portal.
And she is a badass.
Oh, yeah. She tells them to kneel before their queen. Thor throws Mjolnir, and she catches it. They're all in disbelief, and she crushes it, destroys his hammer right in front of them.
It looks like that was her weak hand, too, bro. Yeah. That wasn't even her strong hand.
Right.
This chick is strong. So Loki gets really scared and just yells, bring us back? Bring us back, bring us back.
Yeah.
And they start going to the Bifrost and they're flowing through. And I don't remember. This is our first time seeing like the inside of the Bifrost. We never really saw.
I don't think so. I don't think it's ever shown like what goes on in it.
Yeah, but
which isn't a whole lot, but
There's floating up, but it's really cool to see. So Thor's going, Loki's going, and then they look down and Hela's following behind them. Hela kicks out Loki and he starts floating down, so he's out of the Bifrost. She goes up to Thor and starts giving him the business, and he gets kicked out of the Bifrost, and you just see her just kind of ascend up to Asgard. We're like, oh crap.
Yeah, she lands at the Bifrost, and the Warriors 3 are waiting there, and she takes them out
with the quickness, man.
With no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then Scourge is standing there. He's still mopping up dragon blood, I guess. And he's like, I'm just the janitor. And he's just mopping the floor. She offers him a job, basically based off his instincts and telling her that he was a janitor when she knows better.
So yeah, she offers him this job, and before we even get to the next thing, I just like this. She just looks. She's at the start of the Bifrost bridge, and she just looks on Asgard.
Yeah,
it's almost like I'm home, baby. You know?
Yeah. As soon as she steps foot on the Bifrost, she's already feeling the power.
Yeah. So it jumps to Thor, and Thor is crash landed on this planet. No clue where he is, but he is around a bunch of scrap metal and trash, and stuff just keeps kind of falling as well. So he's trying to avoid all the scrap that's trying to fall on his head. He kind of climbs on top of some this trash heap, and he sees a city in the distance.
Place is nothing but trash.
Yeah,
it's just a trash planet, except for a little city in the middle of it.
we see a ship approaching with a bunch of strange alien type beings, and they're trying to like capture him. And he kind of like puts his hand back, like he's trying to call on his hammer.
Yeah,
but then he's like, he doesn't say it, but you can see on his face like, shit, she broke my hammer, right?
Yeah.
I ain't got it no more.
Pretty sad.
Yeah. Once again, we just talked about it earlier. It's been an extension of him. So he starts fighting them, but is easily put down because they put him in this weird electric net or whatever. So they start just mollywopping him and beating him, right? Another ship lands and a woman drinking approaches. She claims Thor, like, he is mine. And then she starts walking down her bridge to collect what's hers, and she falls off the bridge. Well, mind you, she's drunk. She gets up, claims him again, he is mine, and they just start laughing at her. And then she takes these, what is that? Like, she has these, like, gun cannon things that are gauntlets.
Yeah, like she has, like, the gauntlets on that remote control arms on her ship.
That was cool to watch, man.
Yeah. One thing, too, I started really liking here is the score for this movie. Real kind of techno score, cool songs.
Different.
It was pretty interesting take. Yeah, so she sets up these guns, remote control guns on her ship, and she blows all those aliens to pieces. Yeah. There's like nothing left of them. Thor starts to talk to her, and she puts a little device on his neck that shocks him. It's just like a little button kind of look, and she shocks him and knocks him out. She drags him onto her ship, and they head out towards the city to meet the boss.
Oh, yeah. So Thor awakes in her ship, and he's asking all these questions. And like, he's got to get back to Asgard. Like, where the hell is he at? I'm Lord of Lightning or whatever he says. We'll talk about this in a few minutes why I use that. But then he actually like smashes the glass and kind of cracks it a little bit. So she just electrifies his ass again, and just he's out. Yeah.
The next scene, we're actually back on Asgard. And Hela's talking to all the Asgardians, having like a big town hall type meeting. And she explains to them who she is, and she wants to rule over all the realms, like her and Odin did at one time.
Yeah.
Tells them, kind of quick backstory of whatever, what she's done. And one of the guards comes out and says, whoever you are, surrender now. And she's like, did you not listen to a word I just said? But yeah, this was cool because I like how he put her like real far in the distance on the scene. Serious things she said, but it was still funny just because of the like she looks so small compared to everything going on.
And in regular fashion, she whoops everybody's ass. Yeah. This is a dope scene where she whoops everybody's ass, kills everybody. She has these spikes that appear out of nowhere. Did you notice all of the ships and all the cannons and everything in the background? She just takes out as well.
Oh, yeah.
With the quickness.
Yeah, she took out the ships. Yeah, I mean, she was taking out people right in front of her. She was fighting people and still killing people around her.
Yeah.
Like further away from throwing those daggers. So, yeah, she does all that, and then Scourge walks up through, the pile of bodies she left. And that initial guard that was talking to her and told her to surrender is still alive. And then she impales him.
Yeah, she's definitely a beast, man.
Mm-hmm.
We also see a quick shot of Heimdall, really quick shot of him on a ledge, kind of making his way around, right? So we know he's this traitor. We don't really know what the hell's going on with his story, but kind of get this quick shot of him, keeping him in the loop.
Yeah, he's climbing up to the Bifrost.
Yeah.
Then we flash to like a black screen where it's like looks like space, and it sounds like machines starting to turn on. These things are going on, and we just see Thor sitting in a chair. And he's like going through this weird VR presentation of Sakaar, which is the planet he's on, and they talk about it's a collection point for all lost and unloved things. Introduces the Grand Master, and he's the creator of Sakaar and also the creator of the Contest of Champions.
While Thor's going through this little tunnel and kind of getting this VR experience here, I don't know if you noticed, but there's actually that Willy Wonka music in the background.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like it's supposed to do some sort of like a mind control or something, but
obviously doesn't work on the God of Thunder.
Yeah.
But then the voice says that you're about to meet the Grand Master in 5, 4, and there's just countdown. And at the end of the countdown, you see Thor, and he's just screaming. And he's in this great hall right in front of the Grandmaster and all these people, right? Right. So he's face to face with the Grandmaster. The Grandmaster thanks the girl who shocked Thor. Her name is actually Scrapper 142, played by the brilliant Tessa Thompson. Thor's in this chair, and this chair can move around, I guess, this great hall, and Thor is actually side by side with this other guy. It's a weird scene, guys. I apologize. And Grandmaster pardons this guy with this goo stick? What is this?
He says, I pardon you, and he's all excited, and he says, from life. And then, it was like some sort of staff that, turned him into goo. Apparently, it was very gross and smelled.
So, like, Thor's freaking out. It's, disgusting smell, and Thor's like, he's going back to Asgard. And Grandmaster makes the mistake and says, Asgard? Yeah. What are you talking about here? So the Grandmaster kind of goes off and does this thing, and Thor sees Loki. He yells for him, and Loki says he's been there for weeks, even though Thor has only been there for literally a few hours. But Loki's not going to help him out. He's gotten good with the Grandmaster. He's not trying to mess up his place. So Thor is still trying to, get out and leave and everything, and the Grandmaster says, if you want to leave, you have to defeat the champion. Thor says, okay, let's do it.
And let's not forget, the Grandmaster is Jeff Goldblum. So that's a whole nother level of dialogue.
It's not just, you're not going to get boring dialogue. Like nothing I can say or Javi can say is going to do Jeff Goldblum's lines as justice. So I don't know about you, Javi, but I'm not going to even try, okay? To deliver them. They're so awesome.
The only line I would have quoted from Jeff Goldblum was when he said Thor had sparkle fingers.
I will say, if you have not seen this movie yet, Jeff Goldblum is like the highlight of the movie. Jeff Goldblum, and then this next character that we're going to meet as well.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Contest of Champions.
Yes.
They put Thor in this cell kind of thing. It's more like a hallway where they hold all of the champions. And we meet Korg, which is, he's like a rock person. He's made of rocks. And we find out that Korg tried to start a revolution at some point. To try to escape from there, because apparently nobody escapes from there. Thor tries to take off running, and he runs down the hallway, and it's like a circle. It's an infinite circle, and he just comes back to the other side.
You mean a freaky circle?
Freaky circle, yeah. They start talking about people not being able to beat the current champion, and he brings up Doug. He's the previous contender against the current champion, and he's no longer around.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's around. He's just dead on the floor.
Korg is my second favorite character in this whole movie. Obviously, it's Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster, but Korg is this rock monster, but he's voiced by the director, Taika Waititi, who's also an actor, and just does a fantastic job, man. He's just like, hey, man, I'm Korg.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and I can't even do it justice because it's just so good. It's so good and it's so fun. We're like, I just want more of Korg in the MCU as much as possible, please.
Well, luckily we got a little more of them after this one.
Yeah.
So the next scene, we're on Asgard. We see Hela and Scourge in the castle, for lack of a better word. And Hela rips down the lies that she says are currently painted on the ceiling of it, and it reveals Hela and Odin and them basically being side by side, being rulers of the realms, and that she starts explaining that she wanted to do more, and Odin wanted to take on a different role. He wanted to go from being that person who's been taking over a bunch of, civilizations and realms to being more of a protector and a provider as a king. And he didn't want her to keep going like she was going, so he locked her ass up.
Yeah, so she goes, she's there. She goes to the treasure room, says that the gold gauntlet is fake, and looks at a bunch of other treasures and saying, fake, that's crap. Ooh, that one's nice. Looking at the Tesseract. And then she feasts her eyes on the internal flame and uses it to awake dead Asgardian soldiers. She makes this big ass hole in the ground, jumps down there with this flame, and wakes up all these dead entombed soldiers, and that's basically her undead army.
And her doggy, Fenris.
Oh yeah, that's a big ass dog, man.
Yeah, so when she wakes them back up, it looks like they're pretty much all under her control.
The next scene, we have Thor, and he's in that freaky circle thing, kind of mourning his father's death, and he's just kind of sitting there moping, and then he's approached by Loki, and he's talking to Loki in his little exposition. Loki's like, we should probably work together, kind of get on the Grandmaster's good side, and, ascend in this place. One thing about Loki, he's always just looking for power and being able to rule and being in, control.
Mm-hmm.
And Thor is not about that life. He's more about just being the hero and helping the little man out. And so Thor doesn't want to hear it, so he throws a rock, and the rock just goes through, so it's not actual Loki. Loki's like, you actually think I was going to come here? This place is a dump. What do you think I'll be here? So, Loki's trying to explain to him, this is a good idea for us to kind of rise and be on the Grandmaster's side, and Thor just keeps on throwing rocks and throwing rocks and throwing rocks at him, right? And he's not there. So, it was a quick scene, and Thor's like, I'm not about it, so bye.
You're talking about Korg here, too. Thor throws a glass bottle at Loki, and it smashes. And all of a sudden, Korg's running in, and he, throws, a kick at the wall. He said, piss off,
Get
ghost.
out of here, you ghost! Oh, I love it, man.
And then Meek's back there ready to fight, too.
It's just fun.
Like we talked about Meek.
Meek is Korg's sidekick. Just weird little...
He's a
worm thing?
Yeah, he's like a slug in a exosuit that has knives and stuff on it, and he has knives for hands, right? So they're out of the freaky circle room, and they're in a fighter prep area. A lot of the fighters are getting their weapons and stuff, getting ready for the contest. And this is another funny Korg scene where they're talking about weapons and fighting, and Thor's talking about his hammer and how throw the hammer and it'd fly. He said it'd fly on your back, right? He said, no, I throw it and it pulled me off. And he's like, whoa, hammer pulled you off. Yeah, he's such a good character.
Yo, I can't believe that Disney let them put these jokes in this movie, man. So good. I also like that Korg was like, here, how about this weapon? And this weapon is this humongous bow staff, but it has 3 stakes at the end, 3 points. And Thor's like, nah, I'm good. And Korg's like, yeah, you're probably right. Unless you're going against 3 vampires who are really close together, this is unnecessary. Oh, there's so many good just bits in this movie, man.
Oh yeah. So on one side it's the the prisoners, and on the other side of this electric wall, it's a bar for the scrappers and stuff like that to come in. And Thor sees Scrapper 142. I don't know if we want to call her Valkyrie or not. Really her name, but I'm just gonna call her 142.
IMDb and Wikipedia call her Valkyrie. So,
but that was the group of all of them. He was part of the Valkyrie.
I thought it was weird as well.
Oh, I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Unless that was just their names. Their names were Valkyrie. They didn't really have.
You are no longer
a person.
You are no longer. Yeah, you're just Valkyrie now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna call her 142.
That.
Korg tells Thor, you got to look out for those Asgardians. Talking about 142, and he notices that she has a tattoo, which is a Valkyrie tattoo. Starts trying to talk to her about helping him, and they need to save the Asgard, and Odin's not on the throne. Hela's trying to take over the throne, and she shocks him again because he starts getting a little riled up.
Just a little bit there.
So he's dragged into this chair. He's laying on the ground. A couple of guards drag him into this chair, and this is Stanley's cameo. And he's like, he tells Thor, says, "All right, my hands aren't as steady as they used to be." And Thor's like, "You do not touch my hair. If you do that, you know what's going to happen." Then he turns on this weird hand saw thing to cut his hair, and Thor says, "Please, kind sir, don't cut my hair."
Changes the bass in his voice real quick. So we enter the arena where the Grandmaster, there's like this humongous projection of the Grandmaster, and he's hyping up the crowd for the main event. Thor walks in as the Grandmaster is announcing the champion. The crowd gets excited. There's all this Hulk green colored smoke filling up like stuff in there, and like I said, everybody is just super excited about what's about to happen. And the Grandmaster's hyping him up, and then enters Hulk. Loki's watching it from the Grandmaster's suite, and Loki says he has to get off this planet and tries to run away, and Grandmaster stops him, right? Just a quick callback to the end of the first Avengers movie. Loki's not a fan of the Hulk, so
yeah. I just think this is the first time he's been called the Incredible Hulk.
Well, yeah.
So when Thor sees him, he screams, "Yes," real loud, right? And the whole stadium gets real quiet, and Thor's like, "Yeah, we know each other. He's a friend from work."
Okay, so this was in the trailer leading up to this movie, and everybody was like, if that's the line, I'm definitely in line to see this movie, okay? Like, that line set the entire tone for this movie about, like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, he starts talking about, what's happened while Banner's been gone, and he said, lost my hammer. That happened, like, yesterday, so that's pretty fresh. And he keeps calling him Banner, and the Hulk starts getting mad. He says, "No Banner, only Hulk." And then they start fighting.
This is a dope scene, right? This is a humongous fight scene between the two. This is taken from a comic, Planet Hulk, where everybody kept on asking, like, let's get a Planet Hulk movie, and this is the closest thing that we've gotten so far to that Planet Hulk movie. I highly recommend, if you've never seen the short hour and 10-minute cartoon, do it. Otherwise, read the comic book. It's fantastic. But Thor hits him with a mallet, and then Hulk goes flying, and then tries to do the Age of Ultron sun getting low thing. Like,
the lullaby. Yeah,
the lullaby thing that Scarlett Johansson's character did, Black Widow, and Hulk is not about that life. He literally
makes it pretty far.
He does.
He's rubbing his fingers on his palms.
just picks him up as a rag dog and just beats him into the ground, right? And then Loki gets up and goes, "Yeah, that's how it feels. Yeah. How do you like it?" Right? Because that's exactly what Hulk did to him at the end of Avengers. So another great callback.
Yeah, this is a couple of good lines in this, and they're still fighting, and Thor's like, "What are you doing? You're embarrassing me. I told him we were friends."
I love that line. That's my favorite line of the whole movie.
Because he's actually just angry with him. He's like, "Why do you, you're embarrassing me?" Yeah, good. Yeah, and they fight, and Hulk ends up having Thor in the ground, and he's punching his face a lot, like just drilling him into the ground. Thor starts to have a kind of a reaction from all this going on.
A vision,
and a burst of lightning comes out of him. At this point, Thor's about to win. Right? He's about to finish off Hulk, and the Grandmaster hits him with the control that sets the shocker off on his neck.
Yeah.
And then this is where Hulk jumps up in the air, like way above the arena, and comes down and punches Thor in the face. I guess basically just ends it there and wins the match.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. While we're on this break, we wanted to take a moment and thank our listeners. Thank you all for subscribing and listening to Movie in a Pod.
And we want to engage with you a lot more on all of our cinematic adventures. So Movie in a Pod now has a Facebook page.
Let's discuss recent trailers, favorite movies, and what's coming down the pipeline for all of our viewing pleasure. Sicario,
Men in Black,
Casino Royale,
Big,
Leprechaun,
Halloween,
Zoolander,
Crazy Stupid Love,
and our guilty pleasure, Never Back Down.
Don't forget, we are also on Twitter and Instagram at Movie in a Pod.
Let's chat about movies, guys. All right, and we're back.
Okay, so we are on Asgard now. Hela explains to Scourge that she was Odin's executioner. Then she hires Scourge as her executioner. Right. He had a job already, he just didn't know what it was. So she makes him an axe, and he takes it, and he just accepted the job offer. They head to the Bifrost, and then they see that the sword that controls the Bifrost is gone. And we flash over to a forest there on Asgard, and there's people running from soldiers, and they run into Heimdall. He kills all the soldiers. He's got the sword, his sword, basically is what it is. And they start heading over to the mountains to a secret hideout, big stronghold, where most of the Asgardians are hiding out to try to stay safe.
Smart move there. So then we jump back to Sakaar, and Thor is being tended to, and he wakes up in Hulk's quarters. He's just like kind of looking around this humongous room, and he sees Hulk bathing, and he says, Hulk in a hot tub. So Thor's trying to figure out like how Hulk arrived there. Hulk says Quinjet, and then makes this kind of splash thing into the hot tub like he's a child. He's like, okay, the Quinjet, but where is the Quinjet? And then Hulk pops out of the hot tub naked, and Thor's like, well, I'll never unsee that.
Yeah.
Hulk walks to the window and points down and shows Thor the Quinjet. Thor's trying to get Hulk to come back to Asgard. Hulk declines, and Thor is stuck anyway, as there's a shield on the door. So a little bit of exposition that happens there. Basically, Thor, you're not going anywhere, bro.
Yeah.
As Hulk leaves to train with Valkyrie, Scrapper 142, whatever we're calling her, this is a really cool, interesting scene, which I don't think we've seen before either in the Thor series. Thor calls Heimdall. He uses his eyes to see what's going on Asgard, and Heimdall explains, there's all this chaos, they're taking shelter, they're running from all these undead soldiers. Really cool scene. I really like it. Heimdall tells Thor that he is on a planet surrounded by doorways, and they go through the biggest door.
Yeah. So Hulk and Thor are now together. I guess it's later in the day at this point, bickering back and forth about being bad friends. Thor tells him at some point that everybody on Earth hates him. He gets pretty upset about it. This is a kind of long scene where they just bicker back and forth like two friends that are mad at each other. Thor apologizes for saying that, Earth hates him and asks him for a favor. Later on, Scrapper 142 shows up to meet Hulk, and Thor is there waiting to talk to her. He explains, the situation with Odin again and Hela, and he's trying to get her to join his team, right? He's got a team put together. It's him, 142, and Hulk. And Hulk says, nope. And she looks at him, she's like, he said, I guess it's just me and you. We get a little backstory here that she was part of the Valkyrie, and she was there when Hela was being locked up by Odin, and most of the Valkyrie did not survive.
Yeah, we get the vibe as well that she doesn't really give a damn about Asgard anymore.
Yeah.
Like, none at all.
Yeah, so he gets real close to her while she's talking. He picks the controller out of her pocket, the one for the shocker device on his neck, and he turns it off and takes it off.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about being a hero, and he throws like some kind of ball, like a bowling ball kind of thing at the window, and it bounces back and knocks him on his ass. He jumps up real cool and jumps out the window.
Oh, yeah. Because that's what heroes do. Thor drops down into the Quinjet, but he can't fire it up, right? He's trying all these different voice commands, like strongest Avenger, biggest Avenger, all these things. And he goes, damn it, Stark, Point Break. Yeah. Yeah. Which we have to do a pod on Point Break as well, man. Love that movie. Yeah, so the voice print is needed to access his point break, and as soon as it starts firing up, Hulk enters and starts destroying the Quinjet, right?
Straight bull in a china shop situation.
No regard for this damn Quinjet at all. Starts destroying everything, but then pops up that a video of Romanoff by the end of Age of Ultron, and he turns back into Bruce Banner. They dialogue a little bit after he turns back into Bruce Banner. He's freaking out, and they try to figure out how to get off this planet together.
Did you cut your hair? Looks good.
Love Mark Ruffalo, man.
Then we see another gigantic hologram with the Grandmaster. He's asking for Thor to be captured because he helped his champion escape.
Yeah.
So he's recruiting the whole planet to look for him. They're in the Quinjet, and then they're talking, and Banner's getting a little freaked out, and Thor keeps doing the lullaby on him to try to keep him. Keep Banner as Banner so the Hulk doesn't come back out.
Yeah.
The sun's getting real low. That's all he keeps saying. Next, we see Loki and 142 in the Grandmaster's office, and they're talking about finding Thor and the Hulk. They agree to do it in an hour, right?
Yeah.
So as they're leaving the Grandmaster's office, her and Loki start to fight. And at some point, Loki sees her tattoo, her Valkyrie tattoo, and says, that must be a horrible memory. And he touches her head, and it shows us that point in time where the Valkyrie were attacking Hela, and they were all being killed.
And she kicked everybody's ass. Everybody. Except for Scrapper 142 there.
Yeah.
The next scene we have is Banner and Thor, and they're just kind of like in the city square, and Thor's again doing like, sun's getting low, sun's just trying to calm him down, right? Really just trying doing everything in his power to calm him down. Thor's trying to figure out like, why is he freaking out?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm on an alien planet.
Yeah.
Thor's like, you've been on a planet before, and Banner's like, yeah, one. I've been on one other planet before, right? So they're just like trying to get away and still trying to get a plan together how they're going to get off this planet. Valkyrie ends up finding Thor and Banner, and they agree to team up against Hela. Thor calls them the Revengers, and then starts dishing out like you can get revenge. You can get revenge. Hey, do you want some revenge as well?
Yeah.
God, this movie's just so fun.
She explains to them she has a peace offering for him, right?
Yeah. She shows them Loki that she has tied up, and because the last time that Thor saw Loki, he was a projection, throws something at him. He was like, oh, you really are here.
Yeah, just had to be sure. This is funny, too, is when Banner walks in. He says, last time I saw you, you were trying to kill everybody. He says, how are you doing these days? And he says, it varies from moment to moment. Bruce's face was fantastic. He was like, oh my God, this guy's crazy.
Yep.
And they start talking about their plan. Valkyrie says, we can get back to Asgard if we go this way in about 18 months. Thor says, or we can go through a portal, the big one. That's where 142 says, the devil's anus? Bruce was eating a sandwich or something. He's like, anus? What? What's going on?
And during this time, Loki is tied up.
Yeah.
But he's trying to show like, hey, I'm valuable as well. I have the access code to the ships and everything around here.
Right.
So they agree to use his dumbass as well. In Loki fashion, watch out. There's something up his sleeve.
Yeah, they talk about how Loki's already tried to kill him. He says, well, he attempted to kill me just a while ago. And Thor says he's tried to kill me a lot of times. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie, where he tells the story about the snake. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
So Valkyrie, she breaks out Korg and the rest of the crew because Thor said, we're going to start a revolution. Way to the ship. They're on this elevator and they're talking. This is actually a really cool moment between brothers. How they've gone their separate way, but Thor thought the world of him and everything. But as the elevator is getting to its destination, Thor's like, we're gonna do what is it called, help me.
Yeah,
we're gonna
get help.
We're gonna do get help. and Loki's like, we're not doing get help. And then the next scene, the elevator opens and Thor's like, get help, my brother's messed up. And the guys there's like these guards and they're coming towards him trying to figure out what's going on. And then Thor just like throws his brother at him, knocking out all the guys. Oh man, get help is a good scene.
Thor gets Loki up and they're talking and he realizes he's a projection. And in the background, Loki is like packing up or getting ready to do something and he gets shocked. And he ends up on the ground like Thor was earlier.
Oh yeah.
When they're in the elevator, Thor like patted him on the back and I assume that's when he put it on him.
Yeah, he also said that he was deciding to stay on Sakaar and he was going to be like a ruler there. So once again, Loki's always trying, that's his mindset. He just wants to rule.
Yeah, he tells him he's very predictable and he's always been the god of mischief, but he could be more.
Yeah.
Then Thor takes the Grandmaster's ship.
Oh, this ship is fun.
Yeah.
So he takes the ship and he's followed by Valkyrie and Banner and Valkyrie's ship, and they're being attacked because Grandmaster's goons and platoon is definitely after them. And come to find out, this ship has no weapons. It's Grandmaster's orgy ship is what it is, right?
Orgies and stuff.
Orgies and stuff.
Yeah, Banner's in the back. Did she say orgies? And Thor's like, yeah, don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything at all. Right? But then we have this cool, like, this dope spaceship chase that happens. Valkyrie is whipping ass and taking names. Thor's doing work. Hulk is doing work. It's just a really, really fun scene. They eventually make their way through the devil's anus. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then we see, actually, back in the hangar where he left Loki, Korg picks him up and goes, hey, man, what's going on?
We flash to the Grandmaster's ship. They are flying through the devil's anus at this point. There's a bunch of debris hitting the ship as they're trying to make it through this thing, all the trash coming through. Then it goes to Asgard. Scourge has got a bunch of the people lined up, and he's asking about who took the Bifrost sword, and no one's saying anything. Hela and Fenris are watching, and Hela calls out a lady that's standing in the crowd and tells Scourge to execute her. Scourge lifts his axe, getting ready to take her head off, and a guy comes forward and says, I know where it's at. The Grandmaster's ship then comes out of the portal. Everybody's been roughed up, so they're all knocked out.
Yeah.
And then they come to as the ship approaches Asgard. Banner looks around. He says, I thought it would be a lot nicer. He's like, well, it's nice, but it's on fire. Right? And they're looking on like a heat signature scanner on the ship, and they see Hela's heading towards a big cluster of heat signatures in the mountains where the Asgardians are held up.
Yeah. So they kind of come up with a plan on how they're going to take on this, that Thor is going to take on Hela alone. The other two just needs to stay in the ship, try to find some weapons, and just try to help out the people of Asgard. Then it jumps to Hela, and she finds the safe haven. There's this dope scene where she kind of takes it down with her spikes, but nobody's there. And then we get a shot of Heimdall, and he got everybody out before they enter, and he's guiding them to the Bifrost. Hela's pretty upset about that, but Thor calls Hela back to the throne. He's sitting on the throne, and he has the staff, looks like his father's staff, and just starts kind of like thumping it on the ground, and she starts walking into the throne room.
And she starts telling him their backstory, her and Odin, how they used to drown civilizations in blood and tears. Then one day, Odin decided to become a benevolent king and cast her out.
Yeah.
Thor tells her that she can't rule because she's just the worst.
And they start fighting, guys.
Yeah.
So then it jumps over to Heimdall. He's leading the people to the Bifrost, and as he's walking everybody on the Bifrost, they're approached by that big ass giant wolf thing. Fenris. So they're stuck. So they actually start making their way back the other way. But Scourge is leading them troops onto the bridge. So they're trapped in between Scourge and these troops in Fenris.
Yeah, and then it flashes back over to Thor and Hela fighting in the castle.
Oh, yeah.
They're really going at it, and she cuts one of his eyes out.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Back on the Rainbow Bridge, Heimdall's getting ready to fight Fenris as he's running at him. And then Banner's on the ship. Valkyrie's in the backup shooting. He says, I know what we need to do. And he jumps off the ship like he's going to turn into the Hulk. Instead, he just slams on the bridge.
Well,
he hits the bridge so hard. It just lays there.
The reason why I love this, right? Because this is another callback. And it was a different actor, but the Incredible Hulk is still a part of the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
It was Edward Norton at the time, but he falls out of the plane, and once he hits, he turns into the Hulk to take on the Abomination, which was like a reimagining of this scene with Mark Ruffalo. But when he hits, I'm like, damn, thud.
Yeah, then Fenris walks over and just like nudges him like he's dead, you know. He's like, okay, that's not good. Fenris starts running at Heimdall again, and then the Hulk grabs him by his tail and pulls him back.
Yeah.
They start fighting and end up falling off the bridge into the water below.
We have a lot of action happening right now, man. We have a lot. We got Korg, Loki, and the crew show up, and they're fighting on the ground. Heimdall and a bunch of the Asgardians are fighting. Thor's getting mollywopped by Hela. There's a lot of shit is happening right now. As Thor is about to die, she is very strong, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has this premonition again. He talks to his father. He's back on that cliff in Norway with his dad. And, you know, he says that you don't get your power from the hammer. You know, the power is within.
Yeah, when you got hammers.
Yeah, you're the god of hammers. Anthony Hopkins, let's go.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, you know, what about Asgard? She's here. He's like, Asgard is a people. It's not a place. Then he comes back, you know, electrocutes the hell out of her. She freaking falls off of the tower. And then Immigrant Son plays again. And what does Thor do? Whoops some ass.
Whoops that ass. Yeah, he's showing off these new powers. He's throwing lightning at all these different people around him. And then we get Valkyrie getting off the ship. She's ready to fight. She does that badass walk up to the scene.
Yeah.
At the same time, Hulk's fighting Fenris still. Loki has arrived with the cargo ship with all the other
revolutionists on there.
Yeah, the Revolution.
Korg's Revolution, man.
Yeah. So they get off and start fighting as well. And they start getting that ship loaded up with all of the Asgardians. One thing about Fenris, too, is he actually bites through Hulk's leg.
Yeah, that's a strong-ass dog.
So he's legit.
Strong-ass dog right there, man. You know, so this is a dope-ass scene. There's just so much going on, and like Javi said, the score to this movie is great. It's in the background. The cinematography is beautiful. It's just a lot of like pop and pizzazz.
Yeah.
You know, take you back to those Jack Kirby comics of like outer space and different times. It's just fun. But as everything dies down, Hela comes back. So wherever the hell she landed, she comes back too. And there is Thor, Loki, and Valkyrie right there. And Hela's approaching, and Loki's like, he's not doing get help. Like, we're not doing
they're doing get help.
We're not going back to that. So they figure it out. And I think it's Thor who says, like, you know, we gotta bring on Ragnarok. There's no way around it. We gotta do it. Loki has to go get that helmet.
Yeah, he says, you know, we gotta stop her now because she's gonna keep getting more powerful, and then she's gonna come after us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Loki heads to go grab Surtur's crown and put it in the eternal flame so he can rise. And Valkyrie and Thor start fighting Hela, and all the people are boarding the ship. Finally, the ship takes off, and Hela hits it with one of her spikes.
Yeah.
Loki's in the vault now. He grabs the crown, and he sees the Tesseract. And he just kind of stops and takes a look at it, and Then it flashes back to Scourge, and he's hiding in the ship with all of the Asgardians because he's now decided he doesn't want to kill them all or get killed by Thor.
Yeah.
Then he pulls out 2 guns that he had from earlier that he got in Midgard at a place called Texas. He calls them Des and Troy. When you put them together, they destroy.
There you go.
So he starts shooting some of the undead soldiers and jumps out of the cargo ship, and that spike breaks off and the cargo ship keeps going, and he yells out for Asgard. Then he yells at Hela, and she kills him.
Oh, yeah. With the quickness, yeah.
Just
with the quickness.
Spike through his chest.
So Loki goes and finally gets Serta's helmet and puts it in the eternal flame, and then we get this humongous Serta. Is bigger than a house. He did say he was bigger. He's gonna be bigger than a house.
Big as a mountain.
He's big as a mountain, right? And so he starts destroying all of Asgard. And at this point, we haven't seen Hulk in a good minute. Okay, we haven't seen Hulk in a while.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably been at least like 5 or 6 weeks for the last time we saw Hulk. And then, out of nowhere, Hulk just jumps and starts attacking Serta, right?
He's like punching his head. But he's tiny. He's like
so tiny.
Like smaller than one of this dude's fingers at this point. He's a little.
Thor's like, no. Hulk is like, big monster though.
Yeah. Big monster.
He's like, no, come on. So like you can just see it. Oh, you can see like in Hulk's face, he's like, all right, well, damn, I'm not gonna have to fight this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Hulk runs and grabs Thor and Valkyrie, and they jump to the ship.
Yeah.
And Hela starts fighting the big monster. He like jams his sword down, like it looks like it takes her out, and then it goes all the way down to like the core of this. Yes, we call it a planet, and it starts to explode.
Yeah.
Oh, then we get another funny Korg scene where he's looking out the window of the ship while they're in space, looking at the planet about to explode. And he says, "With those foundations, we can still rebuild. We can come back as long as the foundations are strong." And then the whole planet, whole Asgard blows up. He said, "Well, those foundations are gone now. Sorry." But it's so good in that Korg voice.
Yeah. Yeah, Taika Waititi just delivers as this character, man. So they're kind of floating off, and they're in space now. So they're on this humongous, and what is this, like, carrier ship? What is this type of ship now?
I was just thinking it was just like a cargo ship.
Yeah, it's like a cargo ship.
Yeah, it's just like a big open ship where they can just move stuff back and forth, I guess.
And they decide to where they're going to make home. And it's cool because we really never saw Thor as well take the throne. And he finally does on this cargo ship. It's different. Asgard is a people.
Yeah, so they make the decision to go to Earth. Or Thor makes that decision.
Yeah, kind of gets the patch like his dad on his eyeball. Yeah, and makes their way to Earth.
We do have a mid-credit scene on this one.
Yeah.
At this point, I just start calling it Mobile Asgard, a big ship.
I like it.
Loki asks Thor about it being a good idea for him to go back to Earth. Thor's like, probably not. He says, don't worry, though. I feel like everything's going to work out just fine. Then we see dark shadows start to overtake their window they're looking out of. And there's a humongous ship.
Yeah.
Way bigger than the one they got right in front of them.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is Thor Ragnarok. Javi, go ahead and take us, man. What did you think about this movie, brother?
We discussed earlier, this is one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah. This
one rolling into Infinity War and Endgame. That's like the 3 I watch in a row when I do watch them. I enjoyed it. It was really fun. Big change from the other Thor movies. Other Thor movies were good too, but I think this one was just way better. It was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
A lot more on the comic book side.
Yep.
As a movie.
Good deal. How many buckets of popcorn do you give it, sir?
I give this 4 buckets out of 5.
Nice, man.
What about you?
This movie is up there as like in my top 5 of favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Like, Thor was cool because the first one.
Yeah.
I really like Kenneth Branagh, and Kenneth Branagh is a director who gives you Shakespeare, and that's basically what he gave you in that first Thor. So I really enjoyed that. Thor the Dark World, it was kind of like a rehashing, and they tried to go darker, they tried to go like gritty, but it didn't really do anything for me, man. So I went into Thor Ragnarok when I heard it was announced, and I was like, it's gonna be trash. It's not gonna be good. It's gonna whatever. I don't know how the heck Chris Hemsworth keeps on making these movies by himself. You know, bring him back just for Avengers movies at this point. Yeah. And then I saw the trailer, and then I saw the trailer attached to a couple of movies before I saw them, and I'm like, bro, this might be fire. And I went into the theater, and it was fun.
Yeah, I think a big part of that too was Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Like you said, just Thor on his own storyline wasn't quite working, but you make it a buddy comedy with Mark Ruffalo,
and it works.
And Jeff Goldblum.
It's also the director, Taika Waititi.
Yeah, 100%.
That guy is fabulous. He said we're gonna go weird, right? he said if James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy can go weird, we're gonna go weird as well, man. Yeah. We're gonna have a good time. This gets 5 buckets of popcorn from me, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is laugh your ass off, action in your face. Like I said, Jack Kirby, just beautiful shots throughout the entire movie. There's not a scene that you're like, that's an ugly scene.
Yeah.
It's beautiful from start to finish, man. 5 buckets of popcorn, definitely up there in my top 5 favorite MCU movies. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Movie in a Pod. On next week's episode, we are going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut.
Not all of it, though.
Not all of it, though. We're going to try. Woo!
Yeah.
Awesome. So once again, I am Clyde Smith, and you can find me on Twitter as I am Clyde B. Smith.
I'm Javier Villalobos. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. J8200.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hey, it's Christy.
And I'm Kelly.
You might remember us as the OG partners in crime from Dance Moms.
Well, this is Back to the Bar, the podcast where we drag out every insane, chaotic, and iconic moment from the show.
We're spilling the tea, calling out all the BS, and sharing stuff you definitely didn't see on TV.
New episodes drop every week, and yes, we're laughing through the trauma.
For once. Follow, grab a drink, and join us as we go back to the bar.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.